hitungnya dari Indonesia terus bisa tinggal di Amerika ya. Terus selama berapa bulan nih sekarang di Amerika?
Sekarang sih udah 5 bulan, dan selama 5 bulan ini banyak banget pengalaman yang dapet di sini, Rip. Salah satunya adalah ini nih yang lagi hype-hypenya buat orang Indonesia di Amerika adalah puasa di Amerika, yang saya aja nggak nyangka banget ternyata seberat itu puasa di sini.
Iya sih, karena kalau dilihat nih di sekitar kita lagi banyak orang makan dan minum, jadi pasti godaan untuk bakal nih lebih besar ya kayaknya ya.
Iya nih lihat aja, ini jam 2 ya di sini, jam 2 siang. Sedangkan orang-orang di sini nih pada makan-makan aja gitu dengan enaknya gitu. Padahal kita kalau misal di Jakarta sih ini semuanya di restoran-restoran udah pada ditutupin pakai kain.
Sepi deh pokoknya kalau Jakarta ya. Iya sih, memang sepertinya agak challenging untuk menjalankan puasa di negara yang mayoritas penduduknya tuh nggak puasa ya, Ter ya.
Karena di sini aja, Rip, ternyata umat muslimnya tuh nggak nyampe 1% ya, Rip. Jadi emang nggak berasa, ibaratnya puasa di sini nggak berasa gitu kali ya. Tapi ternyata ada aja kok orang yang tetap bisa puasa meskipun harus berhadapan dengan orang-orang yang semuanya makan-makan kayak gini.
Jadi ada cerita apa nih sekarang?
Nah, kemarin nih saya habis ngobrol-ngobrol sama teman saya nih, orang Somalia yang ternyata masih praktis puasanya di sini.
Jadi Somalia ini mayoritas penduduknya juga puasa ya, Muslim ya.
Tapi meskipun dia tinggal di Amerika yang emang rame banget nih orang-orang makan jam 2 siang kayak gini yang masih ibaratnya masa-masa kritisnya puasa gitu, tapi dia tetap puasa.
Oke, kita langsung aja mendengar cerita dari siapa namanya tadi? Nama temennya?
Abdi, namanya Abdi.
Oke, langsung aja kita ketemu dengan Abdi.
Halo Popnoters, masih di VOA Pop Notes bersama saya Esther Sambo. Nah, tadi kan saya udah ngomongin sama Ripka nih tentang teman saya dari Somalia yang namanya Abdi yang berpuasa di sini. Dan ternyata setelah tadi ngobrol-ngobrol, dia udah 8 tahun di sini Popnoters. Jadi kita bisa nanya-nanya lebih lanjut lagi nih tentang pengalaman puasa dia di sini. Halo Abdi, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. And then I'm just curious, how does it feel to fast here? I mean,
You know,
in America.
I thought it's going to be harder this year because it's during the summer and the days are a lot longer. It's about 14 hours a day. But when I first came here about 8 years ago, it was actually in the winter time and the days were only about 9 hours or sometimes 8 hours a day. It was a lot shorter and a lot colder. So it wasn't all that bad. But now, you know, it's the 11th day and I think it's going good so far.
And what differs fasting here in America with in your homeland? I mean.
Well, there's a big difference. In the homeland, fasting was about gathering with the family members, not working usually during Ramadan, especially during iftar. Not working, but right now, most of the days, we're still working during iftar time, so we have to bring our food to work.
So is your family here now in America, or?
Some of my family members, some of my siblings are here, and some are in Egypt. They live in Egypt.
Do you miss fasting in your homeland, or you have gotten used to fasting here in America?
No, actually, I miss fasting at home because you know, the food was different. We had a lot of you know, eating dates and things like that. So I've missed the food. I've missed the climate in which we used to fast. It was a lot better, I believe.
Oh, really? It's a lot better in your homeland than here?
It is a lot better. Of course, in the homeland, it was a lot warmer, hot. The days were kind of long and a lot of sweating and stuff like that. You have to walk around to get anywhere. I know we drive around or take the metro or whatever. So, but I think it was still a lot better to fast at home.
But do you fast like literally like every day or just some days?
No, I fast every day.
Every day?
Yeah, I don't miss a day.
That's good for you.
Yes, well, you know, as you know here, people like fasting because all the food that we eat here in the U.S. tends to be a junk food. So as much as you can avoid food, it's on the good side. I think people appreciate that. Even non-Muslims are fasting, you know, in solidarity sometimes.
But here in America, you are surrounded by people who are not fasting. How do you handle that? How do you manage that?
That's right, and it's a bit of a challenge. You see food all over the place, and you don't feel the climate of fasting here. But at the same time, it's still, you know, you're fasting inside and you're not tempted by food. Sometimes you are, but not most of the time.
I'm curious, what's so hard about fasting? I mean, what's the difficulties about fasting in America? Because I can see that most of the people are not fasting here, right? So do you get like some like
temptation
to or something?
You bet. Especially when you go with your peers, your co-workers, or I'm still a student, and you go with my friends, and they ask you about, do you want to come and get a coffee with us? And you can't get a coffee, and you have to politely say, no, thank you, and then if they insist, then you explain fasting. And sometimes fasting itself is very difficult to explain. They say you're fasting from dawn to sunset. That doesn't make a lot of sense to them, so you have to really explain quite politely, and that you can't have a drink.
So those are the challenges. What about how do you explain that to your, peers or bosses? I can see that you're a university student, right? You're
Right.
a postgraduate student. So how do you explain it to them? Like, people are not familiar with fasting here, right, in America. How do you explain, like, fasting is like this and like that, and I'm fasting now, so I can join you all to have some
Right.
lunch and everything. How do you explain to them?
I try to reason. I try to explain that in every faith there's something special to that faith, and that fasting in Islam in general is supposed to make you feel as people who are not as privileged as we are to have access to food. It's supposed to make us feel how they feel. So, I try to explain to that. And most people, once they understand that, they really appreciate the fact that fasting is not only, just a prayer in and of itself, but that, we are remembering people who are hungry every day.
Okay.
And feel them. So most people really understand it, but at first it's very hard to explain that you're not eating or drinking for 12 hours or 14 hours a day. That's very hard to explain. But then, Americans are very open, and it's a very diverse country, so people understand at the end of the day.
So they do understand. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Abdi.
Thanks again.
Nah, Popnoters, tadi kita udah ngobrol sama Abdi. Lumayan banget ya ceritanya. Kita jadi banyak mendapatkan masukan-masukan baru nih tentang berpuasa di Amerika dari sudut pandang orang Somalia yang ada di sini. Kalau gitu, kita lanjut lagi ke segmen berikutnya.